There it is. All right.
Got it.
I had the wrong phone, had it in German. Had my wife's phone, so I messed that one up.
Yeah, I would have done the same thing, brother.
Everyone, this is a man that I'm grateful to call a mentor, father figure to me. And when everyone asks me about him, I say that's my godfather. His name is Coach Garrett Tujague. He coached me at junior college at College of the Canyons, and now he's the offensive line coach at the University of Virginia. Very blessed to have him in my life. Coach, please introduce yourself.
Man, that's I don't know if I can top that introduction. Appreciate that. You know that got much love for you and your family. Appreciate you. Appreciate your story, man. You're a fighter, and I love associating myself with fighters. So appreciate the opportunity to get on here and talk to you guys. Very humbled. And I'll tell you that the best kept secret is when you got players like Evan, makes your career a lot easier. So build those relationships with the coaches that you're interested in and stay in touch.
Definitely. So want to just pick your brain a little bit, Coach. As people might not know, you're one of the best offensive linemen to go through BYU, also one of the best coaches in the junior college ranks, and now one of the best offensive line coaches. So can you tell us a little bit about just offensive line play and just the basic fundamentals about playing offensive line and being successful at the college level?
Yeah, I think, man, that's a great question. And for me, the game has always started at your feet and then works its way up through the body. And so, man, if there was fundamentals that I would tell you as an offensive lineman, you want to be sudden, you want to be twitchy, you want to be quick, and not overly concerned with the 40-yard time as I am the 10 or pro agility, change of direction, things of that nature. So the fundamentals to me is to master your footwork. Your feet are going to get your body to where it needs to be, and that's 75% of the battle. So as soon as you get your body to where it needs to be because your feet are right, I think everything else takes a little bit, it's a little bit easier. So, man, every day you need to be perfecting your craft with your feet, working any type of drills that are specific to the position. Those are obviously great. I believe one of the greatest inventions ever for offensive linemen is the jump rope. I can remember, man, when I was a college player back at BYU, our O-line coach would lock us in a racquetball court, and we couldn't leave until we spun that bad boy 200 times in a minute. And I could have swore there were some times where I was at like 250 and he still made me keep spinning. So just spinning the rope, changing up the patterns in which you do that with your feet, simulate jumping jacks, one foot in front of the other, the infamous double skip, high knees, and then if you feel like you got it going really good, you can work some side-to-side karaoke. Things of that nature are really good as well. So
nice. So you touched on the feet. Now, can you talk about the hands? Because we see a lot of guys, they kind of overextend sometimes, or they're shooting with late hands. Can you talk about how important it is to have great hands when your hands have to coincide with your feet movement?
Yeah, I think that's the second thing. A lot of times when we get back into fall camp or spring ball, or there's been a time where we haven't been able to work the timing of our hands. Our hands are usually the last one to the party as far as getting that speed going. I think with us, hold on a second. Hey, come here. Come on.
As you guys can see, we're all on lockdown in America as well. There is no home office.
I have a 4-month-old puppy. He's a stud, but he just loves attention. With the hands, you want to keep doing as much of that stuff as you can. One of the greatest drills that I do with my guys is there's the ladder that they do with their feet, and they'll do the same stuff while in a push-up plank position with their hands. Keep their hands fast. I think that's very important as well. One of the things I love to do is have them react side to side with a tennis ball. When we talk about our hands is aim small, miss small. One of the greatest masters of hands is Tujague, and I spent some time with him. and just working your different on a shield or a wall or a fence post, your punch. And I think one of the things that you really got to do is you got to get your hands tough and physical. And I think it's okay when you're in games or practices and stuff like that to wear gloves, but when you train, you shouldn't. You need to keep your hands as tough and as rough. You know, a lot of times have guys punch posts or punch working hands on top of each other, things of that nature. And then really, believe it or not, the timing up of just playing catch with a tennis ball and working the different areas outside your body so that you work that hand-eye coordination. Because one of the things where you talked about, where you mentioned guys are overextending, that the timing is off. And when their timing's off, they're going to either miss long or miss short. And one of the worst things you want to do is have a guy into your body. I think working med balls or into your body on the pass game, but when you're working the run game, obviously you want them as close as possible. I love the sphere of a med ball. It simulates the body, and you can work different hand placements on that. And then once you get going with that, then you can incorporate the feet and the hands in the run game on the med ball. And there's 100 different ways to skin a cat, with whether you're under, pinkies together, thumbs up, you know, this way. I mean, every coach has their personal preference. You know, I love just, you know, taking even one of my best trade secrets. I teach all my guys how to juggle. It's been amazing how it helps their hands. They can juggle two hands, and then when they can start doing it with one hand and, you know, 2 or 3 balls, that's pretty impressive. So any type of dexterity type things you can do with your hands, I think, are very important as well.
Awesome. So, Coach, you guys down there at UVA, you guys are mostly a spread team. Can you talk about some of the basic fundamentals when you're going into your pass sets? I know you touched a little bit on the run set. Can you talk a little bit about your pass sets when you got your guys, when you first starting out with your basic recruits?
Yeah.
Who you start with?
Yeah, so we have 3 basic sets that will work. We'll work like a traditional kick step. I have a drill that we call it Raven, where if you're the left tackle, your left foot's on a 5-yard line, and you'll kick, you'll drive catch. Big fan of that. Drive off that front foot, catch on that back foot, and now the line splits the middle of your body. So in all my research and years, I've found that that's the perfect amount of space to get. Then if you were to kick step again, then that inside foot would now be on the line. So that's how we do our kick steps. And we'll do hundreds of those. Just working your set, really taking, and if this is my front foot, I want to drive my up foot, inside foot down, and I literally want to push and drive the earth away from my body to catch on that back, keeping obviously my knee inside of my foot on that angle with in relationship, so that I'm not over leaning this way. And then we usually will go only 2 kick steps. Then our second set is a vertical set. It's the same thing. If this is my back foot right here, I'm going to drive and I'm going to keep that foot on the line, right? So, and again, if we get to it, but I can talk about the difference of spacing and stuff like that. But we have a vertical set for a tighter 6 technique or a 5. And then we have a power set, which is our inside foot or up foot, and it's working literally laterally down. And again, now I'm driving off of that outside foot to gain leverage and be inside out on the pass rusher. So we'll do those when we call them Ravens. So we'll start off with just 1 kick. So they'll get in their stance, and then I'll give them their cadence, and man, they'll kick 1 time, and we check and immediate. Every single drill I have, if it doesn't give instant feedback, I'm wasting my time, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I want instant feedback. So when I drive, catch, is that line splitting the middle of my body? Yes, then now I got feedback. If not, then now I need to know push more, push less, fix it, right? Then on my second kick, then we'll go through that. We'll do that 5 to 10 times. Then we'll go, okay, 2 kicks. Same thing. I'll give them the cadence, ready to go, and they'll kick twice. For younger kids, you can bird dog it if you want, where they kick 1, check it, kick 2, check it. For us, we don't play the game that way, and hopefully they've done that a little bit before they've gotten to me. But for just starting out, you can bird dog it, where it's you say 1 cadence, boom, boom, then the next, boom, boom, and you get your 2 kicks. Then we'll go to 2 kicks, 1 vert, kick, kick, vert, and then now they check, is that inside foot still on the line? Again, everything we do has instant feedback. With the vertical set, I love that too. We'll go 1 at a time, working that 1 vert, then we'll go 2 verts. And then typically we don't get into a situation where we're in 3 verts, but we'll work different stuff. Again, same deal. If my inside foot's here and it's a power step, my inside foot now is going to step, and then I'm going to be right here in the middle of the line so that I'm not getting used to having my upper body get out of alignment with my core. So those are huge, huge vertical steps, or our steps, which we call the drill rating. One of the things that I love the most about our drills that we have, they all have a name. So I don't have to say, hey, I need you to go line up, do the drill where we put our inside foot on line. I just say Raven and dude scatter. So 1 word, 1 kill, right? 1 shot, 1 kill, 1 word, 1 kill. And then every drill we do has instant feedback. Then the next thing, once we get our feet down, I love to take 8 to 12 pound med balls, and we'll have them pair up, and they'll work their set, 1 kick step, 2 kick step, and then their buddy is launching a med ball at their chest, trying to like break their sternum. And again, we work our hands. Again, the lighter med balls, you may work 1 hand independent punches. The heavier balls go 2, make sure your wrists are taped. But then again, if that ball goes straight back to where it came from, instant feedback, great punch. If it goes off to the side or down or up, bad technique. And again, when we strike, we want to strike with the palm, right? And a lot of times we'll be in meetings and you'll see my guys doing this. And that's just to get good wrist flexibility. Because again, our fingers are amazing tools, but if they're leading with our punch, and they're not going to last.
Yep.
So you want to strike with that. And then obviously, you know, people see all the time offensive linemen hold, and I'm like, if you're not holding, you're not trying. So keep it in the frame, right, so that you're not pulling guys down. And again, the rules may be a little bit different, but once you get inside there, man, now you're driving the bus and you own that guy. So
working the wheel.
Working the wheel. So
got you. So everyone hear that, you know, those medicine balls are very essential when you want to increase your punch. You know, make sure that ball is being trajected and redirecting back to where it's coming from. So that's a great tip for that, Coach. Appreciate that. Now, can you talk a little bit about the run game and what you guys focus on, run game footwork wise, hand placement wise, and things like that? Of course, it's different, you know, compared to which run you're running. So
I love it. So for us, I'm big on cues, 3 cues. So anytime, again, we go to run the ball, it's feet, hands, hat. So when I come up and let's say I get power, the huddle calls power. I walk up or sprint up to the line of scrimmage and I go, okay, what are my feet? Where's my feet gotta go? Okay, where do my hands gotta go? And where does my helmet leverage go? So it's feet, hands, hat. So as my guys are coming up to the line of scrimmage, they're saying, all right, I have a 3 technique on the left guard. I have a 3 technique, feet, hands, hat, based upon this play. So to me, that's huge. So how do you simulate that? To me, I'm a big proponent on your first step is for position. Your second step is when you exert your will, you strike, that's your attitude. You're gonna steal this man's will. And your third step, you're trying to create width and distance to your landmark, right? So for me, I love, especially in this time where we're supposed to be socially distancing, man, take an old school trash can, not the ones with the fancy lids on it, with the hand grab, old school trash can, turn it upside down and put it on a 3 technique or put it on a 6 technique on you. Put it head up, put it inside. And so now you're working your foot. And so again, every coach has their landmarks. For me, just depending on the type of play, if it's inside zone and I have a 3 technique, right, and they're running inside zone on my side, man, I'm going right to the big toe. On my first step's going right to the big toe. My second step, my attitude, I'm thinking about splitting the crotch with my inside foot. To me, that's the most important thing. So it's feet, hands, hat, and then after, once the ball snapped and the cadence is gone, now it's step, strike, strain to finish. And so those things are like religions in our room. And so we talk about those all the time. So you can use a trash can. I'm a big fan of the old school rails. Man, we work on our rails all the time. To me, one of the best things you can do is you can take a towel, fold it up, take another towel, fold it up, and cross it, right? And then put your foot in this bottom quadrant and work on stepping over that towel. And now you're getting that same drive catch. Right? We don't talk about stepping for our run game. It's more of a launch, like drive off that back foot or drive off of that outside foot, depending on where you're going. And so for me, it's all about the step, strike, strain, feet, hands, hat. And so again, my target on inside zone is I'm looking to be on the inside via the neck with my eyes. So I want my helmet here and my hands are going to be in the sternum, right? Again, different hand placements for different plays and leverage. And now I'm trying to work through the via the neck of the defender. And when I do that, man, if my eyes are at your via the neck, man, I probably have pretty good pad level too, right? Now, if you're a defensive lineman that plays high, well, at least you'll be under him, right? But your eyes through the via the neck. And again, if it's outside zone, then I'm thinking here to here with my leverage. You know, if it's a down block, then I'm going inside hand here, outside hand on the shoulder pad. And again, a lot of times coaches get so enamored with your hands have to be here. Sometimes the defensive lineman, you got to take what they give you. So
Exactly.
you got to be able to have your hands together well enough to where you can strike. One of the things I used to do a ton, especially with younger players, is those bands. Take them and wrap them around your wrist, or take an old school inner tube and cut it so you have little pieces. Man, put those around your wrist, and your hands are going to stay together. They can't come apart. Anytime in the run game you feel like you're reaching for an opponent, bad football. Because now you've lost all that weight room. You've lost your clean, your squat. You've lost all your platform work in the weight room. Keep your hands tight, thumbs up, elbows in. I'm a big guy at that. Again, it protects the shoulder from labrum injuries and things of that nature. But man, work your footwork down a rail. A lot of times, the thing that kids get in the most trouble with is they're up on their toes, right? And they're going down downhill. For me, I want the whole. Your mom bought you the whole damn cleat. Use the whole damn cleat. Get those feet and pound your knees. I want to hear their feet in the ground when they're working the rails.
Awesome, Coach. Appreciate that. We got one question. It says, does it make sense to cut block the defensive end if a screen play is called?
So front side or back side. So it depends, and it also kind of depends on the screen. Is it a running back screen? Is it a wide receiver screen? So to me, I love the cut block. Love it. Love it. It's the equalizer. Defensive ends, especially, man, they just come flying up the field. Fastest things on earth right now. So to me, I love a good cut block. I will tell you this, I will caution this, is that we've done a ton of research, and majority of the concussions for offensive linemen come when they're cutting. And so, especially out in space. And so I just, you have to be aware of that. Yeah, if it's a front side guy and you're trying to do a running back swing or a dump screen, I'm all about getting his hands down. And a lot of times I'll vertical set that, invite the rush, right? And then just kind of go and try to hit his thigh boards, because usually you aim a little bit low. You don't want to go too low because then he can just jam you down on the ground. The main objective for the cut block is just to get it. Once you go after one of those dudes' knees, man, they're going to put their hands down and the quarterback can get the ball off. On the backside of the screen, I don't like to cut because you're you are the protector of the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to make sure that that dude does not touch the cue. And some of those screens people draw, they want you to protect for 4 seconds. Dude, you gotta make sure that that quarterback is trusting your ass as a backside offensive lineman to make sure that he doesn't get lit up from the backside.
Awesome. Next thing, just want to touch on real quick, recruiting wise.
Mm-hmm.
When you're recruiting a guy, what do you look for? I mean, I guess it's the same thing what you said already as far as footwork and anything, but is there anything extra what you look for? Maybe football IQ or something like that.
Yeah.
I know UVA is one of those schools where got to be a little headstrong to be there.
Yeah, and so I use their GPA to measure that. And I know there's a difference between book smarts and ball smarts and stuff like that. But really, like, you could go and you talk to some coaches and they give you this 35 freaking list thing. Dude, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Man, for me, I want to see, I love long dudes. I love long dudes. I can't coach length. And not that I discriminate against that. I had a 6 foot, we'll say he's 6 foot. He says he's 6 foot, but I know he's more like 5'11" center. Man, dude, he was a dude. He ended up getting picked up by the Kansas City Chiefs. He made their 53-man roster, and we'll call him 6 foot. But so, if you're a baller, you're a baller, and that's that. But for me, I love length. I love athleticism, and then for me, there's three things that but if they're long, great, check. If they're athletic, check. If they're nasty, let's go. And I mean that. Like, I'm not talking about when no one's looking. And I hate that when kids have on their highlight film, they peel back and hit somebody. Like, bro, my daughter can do that. I want someone that eye to eye that's going to fight your ass no matter what. And Evan, dude, there's times where you're outmatched. You're outmatched. The guy has a better God-given talent than you do, but who cares? Dude, he's going to know he freaking played Garrett Tujague. He is going to know the next day that I got a piece of his ass. And that, to me, that's the most important thing. I love nasty dudes. I love guys when I watch them getting up off the pile, pushing off the player, not the ground. I love dudes, offensive lineman, guy catches a 5-yard hitch route, turns around, gets 2 extra yards, and he's getting picked up by an offensive lineman who's throwing linebackers off of them to get them. I love stuff like that. That's stuff that if I have to coach you being nasty, then we're in the wrong business. So for recruiting offensive linemen, length, athleticism, and nasty. And again, 2 of the 3, right? Because not everybody's going to have the length that you're looking for. You can be athletic. You can change the direction, all that type of stuff. You can absolutely running hoops, running around cones, all that stuff. That you can't beat that. And man, you can absolutely be nasty. Right now, you come off the football field, I want a guy that's going to hug his mom, tell him that he hold the door for the young lady. Like that's all good. Like, football is a violent ass game. And if you're not going to try and knock someone's head off, then man, swimming's fun. Baseball might, I don't know. To me, football is a violent ass game. And you have to have it in your soul. And I'll never forget the very first time my mom let me play football, and I was just out on the field trying to just hammer dudes. And my coach was like, "Tujague, come here." And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm being too mean. And he just patted me on the ass and was like, "Man, I love it." And I played the game because the camaraderie of my brothers, dude, we were going to go wreck shop. We're going to let the dogs off the chain and go wreck shop. So.
Yes, sir. We got one more question. It says, what's the mentality of the best guys you've coached and what makes them different? I think that goes into what you just said.
So I have a thing that I love, right? So to me, offensive line, like there's all types of positions, but for me, I think we have to master the preparation. We have to know our opponent. We have to know that this front equals this, that this safety leverage equals that, these backers equal that, this He's usually a 2-eye. Now he's a shade on the. We have to prepare up front. There's very few positions, I would say, us in corners, that have to go every single freaking direction. Every direction. You know, receivers, they usually just go forward. Running backs usually just go forward. Quarterbacks go backwards, maybe a little sideways and forward. Like, we have to go every single direction. And so for me, man, you have to have that preparation. You have to know your opponent, because then you can anticipate his movement. So if I know where you're going before you know where you're going, I'm going to win that battle, right? So our preparation is going to help us with our anticipation, which is then going to help us with our domination. And so for me, when you can prepare at a high enough level to know that you're in the red zone and these are the top 3 blitzes and this key is for this and that key is for that, man, you're going to be set, right? Then now you can anticipate the twist, or you can anticipate the blitz, or you can anticipate the move. Then now that's going to allow you to be more confident and dominant in your style of play. So I hope, did that answer your question?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that answered it, Coach.
Okay.
All right. Well, with that, Coach, I'll tell you thank you. I know you guys got a lot of staff meetings going on.
Yeah.
Wish you and your family be safe out there.
Same, brother. Man, I appreciate you. And again, like I said, if you want, I think it's just Coach, the number 2 letter J, Twitter, Instagram. Dude, guys, sitting in my office in my home all day. So if you have questions or you need help with anything, man, I'd love to help spread knowledge. Man, it's the best part of this game, man. I'll tell you right now, I have not created any of this stuff. I've stole almost every idea I have. And, you know, you got to use it to work fine-tunes to what you're trying to do. And I've done that. But, man, secrets suck. And I love sharing them with you. Ev, man, I got much love for you, brother. I appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. Be safe. Tell your wife.
Appreciate it, Coach. All right.
All right. Squeeze those little ones for me too, brother.
Yes, sir. Will do.
All right.
All right, Coach.